Black tourists vanish here, and no one talks about it. A Scope News investigation into the global disappearance of black travelers and why their stories are often erased. They packed for sunshine. They planned for peace. They paid in full for paradise. But they never came home. This is not just one family's nightmare. It's a recurring pattern. From the Dominican Republic to the Bahamas, Black American travelers, especially women and members of the LGBTQ+ community, are disappearing under suspicious circumstances. Their families are left to chase justice in foreign lands while the world looks away. No Amber Alerts, no primetime news coverage, just questions and silence. The Bahamas. The disappearance of Taylor Casey. In June 2024, Taylor Casey, a 41-year-old black transgender woman from Chicago, traveled to Paradise Island in the Bahamas to attend a month-long yoga certification program at the Sivananda Ashram Yoga Retreat. Taylor, a dedicated yoga practitioner for over 15 years, saw this retreat as an opportunity to deepen her practice. On June 19th, Taylor was last seen at the retreat. When she failed to attend classes the following morning, staff reported her missing to the Royal Bahamas Police Force. A week later, her cell phone was discovered submerged in over 50 feet of water. Despite extensive searches involving drones, divers, and search and rescue dogs, no further evidence has been found. Taylor's mother, Colette Seymour, traveled to the Bahamas to assist in the search and expressed deep concern over the handling of the investigation. She noted a lack of urgency and transparency from local authorities and has called for the FBI to take over the case. The family believes that Taylor's identities as a black and transgender woman may have contributed to the inadequate response and lack of media attention. The Dominican Republic. The mysterious deaths of Cynthia Day and Nathaniel Holmes. In May 2019, Cynthia Day and Nathaniel Holmes, a black couple from Prince George's County, Maryland, traveled to the Dominican Republic to celebrate their recent engagement. They checked into the Grand Bahia Principe La Romana resort, known for its beach views and luxury all-inclusives. 5 days later, they were found dead in their hotel room. Local authorities claimed the couple died of natural causes, pulmonary edema and respiratory failure, but the story didn't end there. Around the same time, at least 7 other American tourists died under similar mysterious circumstances at resorts throughout the country, with reports of sudden illness, vomiting, and respiratory distress. What alarmed Cynthia and Nathaniel's families was not just the timing, but the inconsistencies. Both were reportedly healthy before their trip. Some early reports hinted at tainted alcohol and pesticide exposure, while others suggested food poisoning or carbon monoxide. Dominican authorities stood by their original cause of death claims, but families back home were unconvinced. Their deaths became part of a broader concern, that black tourists were not only vulnerable abroad, but that their cases would be swept under the rug to protect tourism revenue. Despite pressure from the public and media coverage, no one was held accountable. To this day, their deaths remain officially unresolved. Where's the media outcry? When white American tourists vanish or die abroad, international media often erupts with 24/7 coverage. But when the victims are black, the silence is deafening. This imbalance is not accidental, it's systemic. Journalist Gwen Ifill coined the term missing white woman syndrome to describe the disproportionate media attention given to missing white women compared to people of color. The phenomenon plays out again and again. Gabby Petito's disappearance in 2021 became a household name, with millions following the search across social media and national news. But at the same time, over 100,000 black women and girls were reported missing in the U.S. alone, most of whom received little to no press coverage. Cynthia Day and Nathaniel Holmes' story broke through, but only briefly, and primarily because they were part of a cluster of deaths. Had they been the only ones, the world might never have heard their names. Taylor Casey's case, despite involving multiple marginalized identities, has struggled to gain sustained national attention. Her family continues to advocate tirelessly, but the lack of widespread media coverage hampers their efforts. Why are black tourists overlooked? The issue runs deep and global. Racial bias in law enforcement means cases involving black people are often deprioritized or dismissed, especially in countries with colorism and class-based discrimination. Black tourists may be treated with less urgency or even suspicion. Economic incentives also play a role. Tourism is a billion-dollar industry in places like the Dominican Republic, the Bahamas, and parts of Central America. A public scandal about tourist deaths can devastate local economies. Authorities, resorts, and even foreign governments often choose to protect the industry instead of the victims. Media bias adds another layer. Editors often decide what stories are newsworthy, and that unconscious gatekeeping often means white victims receive sympathy and visibility, while black victims are forgotten. Black families are fighting back. Cynthia and Nathaniel's families refused to accept easy answers. They pushed for transparency. They demanded real toxicology results. They spoke to journalists, pleaded for help from the U.S. Embassy, and kept their loved ones' names alive. Taylor Casey's family has launched a public campaign, including a dedicated Facebook page, to raise awareness and pressure authorities for a thorough investigation. They have also called on U.S. officials to take a more active role in the search. Others are doing the same. Social media groups like Black and Missing, Protect Black Travelers, and Black Women Who Travel are working to raise awareness, provide resources, and build community accountability for cases that are too often ignored by official channels. These platforms serve as lifelines for grieving families who feel invisible in the very systems meant to protect them. Travel is meant to offer escape, discovery, and rest. But for many Black Americans, it comes with a silent, invisible risk that if something goes wrong, the world might not notice, let alone care. Until international institutions, governments, and media outlets begin to treat Black lives with the same respect, urgency, and dignity as everyone else, the message remains chillingly clear. If you're Black and you vanish abroad, don't expect the world to come looking. Sources Scope News tells the truth. Here are the facts. Special thanks to national and local reporting on the 2019 Dominican Republic tourist deaths and the 2024 disappearance of Taylor Casey. Additional context informed by the Black and Missing Foundation, statements from family members, and media analysis from Dr. Treva Lindsay and Gwen Ifill. Disclaimer. This content is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes. Viewer discretion is advised. All names and details are based on publicly available records or shared with family consent. Scope News does not offer legal or travel advice and encourages viewers to remain informed, vigilant, and aware when traveling abroad.